Hi again, everyone. It's Miss Liz from the Hightstown branch. This time with more processed art, we're going to be using popsicle sticks. So if you don't have the regular size popsicle sticks, maybe you have the jumbo ones, that would work well, especially for younger kids. If you don't have either of those options, you can use something stiff that's about maybe 3 or so inches long. So maybe you can cut some cardboard, cardstock, index cards. If you have old gift cards lying around, those will work as well. Something that the kids can hold on to and use to kind of scrape the paint back and forth along the paper. That's how we'll make this processed art project. So you'll need your popsicle stick or whatever alternative you have at home. You'll need your paint, either tempera or acrylic paint work best. You'll need paper. I'm recommending this one. Should have either canvas, if you have it, that's great, or some kind of watercolor paper or painting art paper. If you don't have that, that's completely fine. You can use regular printer paper, just use less paint because, of course, that will have a little bit more trouble absorbing the paint than paper made for art projects. So you'll need those things. You'll need a workspace and something to protect your workspace. So once you have all your supplies and your workspace set and protected, we'll get to it. Okay, so you can see my setup is pretty similar to some of my other processed art videos if you've been following along. One thing that's missing here is my plate that's been holding my paint, because today for this one we're going to put the paint directly on the paper. So I'm going to put a couple of short, small, skinny lines down the middle of my paper. And then I'm going to hold my paper and scrape it along with my popsicle stick one way and then the other way. I'm going to want to try to keep my paper nice and smooth and kind of tight so I don't get any bumps or anything along the way that would have trouble getting my paint across. All right, so I'm just going to start with a couple colors. Whoa, my orange got a little enthusiastic there, so I'm going to kind of bring this down already. So with this one, I think I'll just maybe do a few colors. And if you're interested, you might want to kind of water your paints down a tad ahead of time, especially if you're using canvas or something, because that will definitely be able to absorb it. I'm using just like a art pad, so it will be able to absorb it pretty well. It's made from markers and paint, it says, but I don't want to overload it with anything. So okay, this is a little bit longer than my popsicle stick, but I think it'll be all right. And I'm going to go kind of slowly this way. Kind of cool, like a sunset. And I've got a little bit of extra paint there, and I'm gonna bring it back. Oops, see, now I've got to hold it at the edge this way, and I'm just gonna kind of go back and forth with it and hope it kind of finishes sinking into my paper here. If it doesn't, I can always, and I like these colors, I can always bring it down here. Don't have a whole lot of my popsicle stick, so I can either repeat it down here or I can do a few other colors, can bring it along up top. This would be a very cool background for something else if you want to let it dry and then either draw or color something, cut it out and put it on top. We could also do something, you know, maybe cut something out of black construction paper and put it on top, like kind of like a silhouette. Definitely glad I've got my workspace protected here. But yeah, that looks good. I've got some on my either side of my popsicle stick here. But let's see what I can bring. It likes to stay on the popsicle stick. It's not really coming off, so that's good. Gonna see if I can kind of repeat it down here, but maybe get a little bit more yellow in the mix. So this one you definitely have to be a little bit more patient for. Oh, I'm running out of yellow. And especially for our younger kids, it might require 2 people, someone definitely to help with it. So what happens if I take, for this one, I do half this way and half this way. Oh, didn't quite catch that one. There you go. Kind of keep going. And you can always add more paint onto it later, or I could even go on top with the colors, you know, see how they mix once some of it's a little dry. Or see if I can do, you know, in diagonals, see how that takes me. Or, you know, I could even do 1 color at a time. I didn't have to start with 3. Could kind of layer them. I think I might do a little bit of pink down here, kind of keeping with my sunset theme, and see where that takes us. Well, this is getting tricky to hold on to, but here we go. Oh, knocking over my pink. But see, I'm mixing my pink with my red a bit. I'm definitely going to want to add more pink so I can cover up my white down here. But just keep going back and forth. And then you have a cool finished product. And then, like I said, you can either paint something, maybe you can write a message in crayon, or if you got a photo of you and some friends, you can always put that in the front. I think that's some dried paint. I'm going to move that along. But again, with all my other processed art, the point of this is to see what happens with the process. See how it turns out as you go. We're not using our regular paint brushes. I didn't sit down to say, hey, I'm going to make a sunset. I sat down to say, I'm going to use some colors and make art with a popsicle stick and see what happens. And I'd say it's looking pretty good. Definitely not something I thought I would be able to paint with, but clearly proving myself wrong here. So, all right, well, I'm going to do some finishing touches here, maybe add a little bit more yellow along some of the edges, or some pink, maybe mix them together in some way. But I think I've got a pretty good sunset going on here. All right. Keep painting and hope you stay well.